Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University School of Journalism and New Media Studies, SOJNMS. Postgraduate Diploma in Advertising and Integrated Communication, PGDAIC. Semester 2, MNM 025 Online Brand Management. Block 1 Introduction to Brand Management. Unit 3 Brand Equity, 3.0 Introduction. Today, one of the most valuable assets that a company has is its brand that has been developed over a period of time by considerable investment in terms of time, efforts, and money. Another company can replicate your product, duplicate your manufacturing process or factory design, but they cannot reproduce and replace the strongly held beliefs and attitudes towards your brand established in the minds of consumers. This unit shall essentially deal with brands and the related aspects. This unit shall help us to understand what brand equity is. What does it represent to the consumers? Why is it important for companies? And what companies do to manage their brands? The present unit will help to recognize the steps involved in the development of brand equity measurement and management system. This unit will also enable us to learn how companies have managed their brands over time, geographies and segments. 3.1 Learning Outcomes. After working through this unit, you will be able to why understand the concept of brand and brand equity. Why identify the different perspectives on brand equity. Why outline the components of brand equity marketing communications to build brand strategy. Why recognize the steps involved in developing and managing a brand equity measurement system. Why identify effective qualitative and quantitative research techniques for tapping into consumers' brand knowledge, and why comprehend how companies have managed their brands over time. Geographical and market segments by applying different strategies. 3.2 Concept of brand and brand equity. At times when we see a symbol, a logo, an alphabet or a name, a term, or some specific features, we can identify a particular product associated with it. That product may be a good or service. For example, if you see a blue washing powder, the first thing that comes to our mind, this is Surf. Similarly, if we see a lion made of various machines, we can say that it represents the Make in India campaign. So, these symbols, logos, alphabets, and names that help us to get associated with a particular product are known as brands. According to the American Marketing Association, AMA, a brand is a name, term, sign, symbol, or design, or a combination of them, intended to identify the goods and services of one seller or group of sellers and to differentiate them from those of competition. AMA, 1960. So, we can say that whenever a marketer creates a new name, logo, or symbol for a new product or service, a brand has been created. These brand names can come in different forms. Sometimes they are based on names of people like Haldiram's snacks, at times they are based on a geographical location like Bikanerwala or Amul, and yet other times they can be based on an animal like Red Bull or a bird like Penguin Books. Suppose you are at a shop to buy a detergent bar to wash your white shirt. There are so many detergent bars available at the shop, and yet you ask for Rin. There might be other detergent bars better than or cheaper than Rin, still, you buy Rin because you know the product, you have been using this product, you are satisfied with the product, and you do not want to change. So, that's brand equity, dear learners. Similarly, your friend gets sprain in her ankle or gets a stiff neck, and if you are around, you say, wait, I'll put MOOV. As you say the word MOOV, you unknowingly show the strength of MOOV's brand equity. Put in simple terms, brand position means creating a distinct identity for the product in the minds of customers which differentiates it from the other existing ones, and in the long run results in brand equity. Brand equity in marketing refers to the value of a brand which is determined by the consumer's perception and experience with the brand over a while. As a business, when your products have positive brand equity, your brand's products are easily recognizable by the customers. They are memorable, impactful, and leave a positive impression on your consumers. And this results in financial benefit for the company and allows the company to charge a premium for its products. For example, Surf or Rin has strong brand equity among the customers of detergent powders, so the premium price charged by the manufacturer Unilever is both accepted and expected by the customers. Also, brand equity helps companies to expand product lines, which in turn increases its sales and revenues and reduces costs. For example, Bata India has expanded into various types of footwear under its flagship like Hush Puppies, Shawl, Marie Claire, Power, Bubblegummers, which cater to different customer segments. This increases the profit and revenues and reduces the cost of the company as they are sold through the same outlets and in some cases share the same manufacturing facility. The concept of brand equity has three perspectives. Why financial-based perspective? Why employee-based perspective? Why customer-based perspective? The financial-based perspective defines brand equity as the total value of a brand which is a separable asset when it is sold or included in a balance sheet. Feldwick, 1996. An alternative definition considers brand equity as the incremental cash flows which accrue to branded products over unbranded products. Simon, 1993. So, when we measure brand equity from this perspective, it is expressed purely in monetary terms. The employee-based perspective defines brand equity as the value a brand provides to a firm through its effects on the attitudes and behaviors of its employees. Tavasli, Sorescu, 2009. This perspective is significant as many strong brands today are services or products with an important service component, in which employees play an important role in the delivery of the brand experience. Employees who understand and committedly endorse the organization's objectives deliver value to their customers and thus serve as a base to build customer-based brand equity. The customer-based perspective approaches the concept of brand equity from a customer's viewpoint. The customer can either be an individual or an organization, an existing customer or a prospective customer. According to this perspective, brand equity is the differential effect that brand knowledge has on consumers' response to a company's marketing. Keller, Conceptualizing, Measuring, and Managing Customer-Based Brand Equity, 1993. According to this perspective, brand equity is a set of brand assets and liabilities linked to a brand, its name, and symbol, that add to or subtract from the value provided by a product or service to a firm and or to that firm's customers. Arca, 1991. This perspective is based on the idea which states that to create a strong brand, you as a business should understand how the customers think and feel about your product. If you want that the customers to buy and always use only your product, you must ensure that the customer does not have an unpleasant experience with your product. If your customers have positive thoughts, opinions, feelings, perceptions about your product resulting from positive experiences from your brand of products, then this shows that positive brand equity exists for your product. This perspective of brand equity demonstrates the strength of a customer's attitude towards your brand, which can determine whether your brand succeeds or fails. This customer-based perspective of brand equity is the most dominant perspective and is preferred by most practitioners for laying a strong foundation to create a positive attitude towards the brand. 3.3 Components of brand equity. As we discussed above, customer-based brand equity is based on creating positive experiences for your customer. For achieving this, the company has to understand the needs of its customers and provide them with appropriate products, and maintain your relationships well with your customers. For realizing this, you have to focus on the various components which lead to building brand equity for your products. There are two established models which discuss components of Brand equity. While ACA, 1991, has identified 5 components, Keller, 1993, has identified 4 components of brand equity. We will be discussing here Keller's model. According to Keller's pyramid model, there are 4 different levels of the brand building where the companies have to understand their customers and design strategies as per the needs of the customer. 3.3.1 Level 1, Brand Identity. This is the most significant step in building brand equity and hence it forms the base of the pyramid. In this stage, the company needs to create brand awareness. You have to communicate to your customers about who you are. At this stage, the customers do not know your brand, they cannot differentiate between your brand and other brands in the market. So you need to start building your identity by telling the customers about your brand. For this, it is necessary to ensure that your brand stands out and it is recognizable by the customers and they are aware of it. You also have to make sure that brand perceptions are correct at all the significant stages of the buying process. At this stage, you will use target marketing and advertising campaigns to make the customers aware of your products and identify the brand. 3.3.2 LEVEL2, Brand Meaning. Customers will want to be familiar with your brand once they are aware of it. To find the brand meaning, they would want to know the features of your products, their reliability, durability, and other features which will provide them value for money. This level is made up of 2 major building blocks of brand associations that define the meaning of brands in customers' minds. Brand performance and brand imagery. Brand performance. The performance of your brand is important for the customer and this can make or break your brand's position. This refers to how well your products can meet your customers' needs. This includes why primary characteristics and features of the product, why product reliability, durability, and serviceability, why service effectiveness, efficiency, and empathy, why style and design of the product, why price of the product. Indian companies like Mahindra, Bata, Hero Honda, Jio, Titan, Lakme, Bombay Dyeing, Raymond's have built great brand equity because they have delivered what they have promised to the customers and sometimes even more than their promises. Brand imagery. This refers to the image that customers perceive about the brand. Customers have a picture of a brand in their minds which is shaped by various factors. For example, when we think of a car, what do we expect? We expect a mode of transport that is comfortable as well as safe. Similarly, for a fast food brand, we expect it to be delivering the eatables fast with less waiting time. Brand image can be built through target marketing and word of mouth. 3.3.3 LEVEL3, Brand Response. Customers have specific expectations from a brand and when those expectations are met by the brand, the customer is happy and shows positive behavior. If the brand exceeds the customer's expectations, the customer will be delighted. And she will recommend your brand to others in the market. Customers get feelings as a result of such favorable experiences. On the other hand, if the customer expectations are not fulfilled by the brands, then she is left with negative feelings about the brand which can be termed as judgments. It is critical for the brand to strike a balance between judgments and feelings in order to establish brand equity. If there are too many customers who have negative opinions about your brand, no matter how hard you attempt to sell your products, they will not be sold in the market. So, in order to be successful, you must have a greater number of positive feelings rather than the negative judgments. Therefore, it is important to know the factors that delight the customers and result in positive feelings. This will help the brands to work on these factors to gain an advantage over the competitors. To achieve this, it is essential that the companies adopt holistic marketing to ensure that customers are satisfied at all points of contact with their brand. According to Keller's model, A brand that has more feelings than judgments is the brand that will gain benefits from brand equity building. 3.3.4 Level 4 Brand Resonance. This level is the most important and desirable level of brand equity, but it is equally difficult to achieve, hence, this level is at the top of the pyramid. This is the stage where the brand has built a strong social and psychological relationship with the customer, and the customer is highly engaged with the brand. This is the stage at which a buyer is devoted to a brand, believes it is superior, and will not buy anything else. The customer also advocates the merits of the brands to others. For example, a person who has once ridden a Royal Enfield motorcycle will not switch to another brand as she feels deeply associated with it. Even though there are cheaper motorcycles available in the market, these customers will stick to Royal Enfield and not ride other brands. They will advocate their brands fiercely. The customers not only build a connect with the brand but also with the customers who use the same brand. It's like making a new friend, simply because he rides the same motorcycle brand as yours. At this stage, the customers are willing to take part in online forums or social media, or any other event related to the brand. Customers respond to a variety of factors, including lifetime experience, customer service, products, and value. Very few brands are able to reach this level. Some of the examples of such brands are Harley-Davidson, Apple, and Amazon. Keller's model is very important as it provides a roadmap and guidance to companies for brand building. This model acts as a benchmark that can be used to check a brand's progress in the brand building exercise as well as marketing research initiatives. 3.4 Integrating marketing communications to build brand strategy. To be successful in the market, companies need to inform, persuade, and remind consumers, directly or indirectly, about the brands they sell. For this, companies use marketing communications to establish a dialogue and build relationships with consumers. These marketing communications not only represent the voice of a brand but also create a brand image and build brand awareness among the consumers. Besides establishing the point of similarity, marketing communications at times explain the points of difference with competition, making an impression on consumers' minds. This leads to the development of strong consumer-based brand equity as well as long-lasting relationship. While designing and implementing brand-building communications in today's evolving environment, companies need to be careful as well as creative in reaching their customers. The companies need to ensure that their communication is reaching the right people at the right time and at the right pace. You as a company could answer the following questions stepwise to judge the effectiveness of your marketing communications. Step 1. Current brand knowledge. What is my customer's current knowledge about my brand? Have I created a detailed map in their minds? Step 2. Desired brand knowledge. What is the brand knowledge of customers that I desire for? Have I defined the ideal points of parity? Achieve the desired brand knowledge of consumers? Have I clarified the specific effects on knowledge created by communication? Knowing the answers to these questions will help you to know whether your communication contributes to brand awareness or in creating, maintaining, or strengthening certain brand associations. The answers will also help you to know whether these communications have resulted in positive favorable brand feelings or negative brand judgments. You will also get to know whether the communications have enhanced consumers' knowledge and encouraged them to buy more of your products or not. Today, besides using advertising, the companies use different means to communicate with the consumers and build brand equity. The following figure represents some of the common marketing options used by the companies. Integrated marketing communication involves the use of various channels of communications, including both the traditional as well as the modern channels, like mobile apps and hashtags. Traditionally, companies have been using audiovisual and print media, along with promotions to communicate with their customers. But with times, These mediums underwent a change. Communication avenues like television, advertisements have undergone subtle changes. Marketing research revealed that the consumer tends to watch their favorite shows on various platforms after their telecast. Marketing research also revealed that the consumers tend to skip the advertisements during the recorded programs. In this case, the companies are unable to communicate with consumers despite spending resources on creating the advertisements. Research also reveals that consumers today are tech and information savvy and like to spend more time on their mobile screens for playing games and surfing on social media. Keeping in view the changing tastes and preferences of consumers, companies are progressively using multiple avenues to reach their customers along with the traditional means. In the era of the internet, social media and big data, companies are increasingly using means like websites, blogs, applications, apps, in-app advertising, and social media handles to reach out to their customers. These modern means of communication not only have faster reach but have a boundary-less and timeless appeal to customers. Depending on the nature of product, availability of resources, changing environment, companies may choose a mix of marketing communications. Whatever marketing communication program is chosen by the companies, it should be ensured that they are able to establish connection with consumer and able to effectively communicate about brand, thereby creating a strong brand awareness and image resulting into a strong consumer-based brand equity. 3.5 DEVELOPING. A brand equity measurement and management system. To build a strong consumer-based brand equity for their products, companies have various tools at their disposal. For the survival of a brand, it is important for the companies to understand how effective these programs have been. If these programs have been able to increase brand knowledge, create a positive image for the products and generate feelings among the consumers, then it can be concluded that the strategy employed for this is successful. To measure success of marketing communication programs, companies have to make a deliberate effort not only in the direction of effective and efficient measurement systems but also to manage these systems. A system designed to effectively measure the source and outcome of branding strategies and thus provide a set of up-to-date and relevant information for effective tactical and strategic decision-making can be referred to as a brand equity measurement system. There are two methods that can be used in designing measurement systems. While the indirect method sorts and records emotional level changes in consumer, direct measurement method measures and analyzes the consumer response towards brand in terms of sales, revenues, etc. A brand equity measurement system is composed of three key components. These components are conducting brand audits, designing brand tracking studies, and establishing a brand equity management system. 3.5.1 Conducting brand audits. A brand audit is a customer-centered exercise that examines your market position in comparison to competitors and evaluates the overall efficacy of your approach. While conducting a brand audit, besides taking a closer look at the situation within your company, you take a closer look at your branding and brand values. You undertake a SWOT analysis and analyze your strengths and weaknesses to determine the direction in which your company should develop. Brand audit is like a full health checkup of the company operating in an environment to identify its target market and needs, produce products as per those needs and ultimately increase the return on investment, ROI. Brand audit is used to set the strategic direction of the brand and consists of two steps: brand inventory and brand exploratory. While brand inventory provides detailed information about the marketing and branding of the company's products, brand exploratory helps to identify what the consumers think and feel about the brand. This helps to identify the sources of brand equity. 3.5.2 Designing brand tracking studies. After conducting brand audit, companies design brand tracking studies. These studies are quantitative in nature and help in knowing the current performance, of brands based on key dimensions identified by brand audit. These studies involve collecting information from the customers on a routine basis to provide valuable tactical insights of the short-term effectiveness of marketing programs and activities. By tracking its brand, a company can monitor its own health with respect to the competitive landscape and obtain information that facilitates its marketing team's decision-making. This exercise also helps to know whether the marketing programs have been able to deliver the intended effects. To achieve desired results, the companies should know who, what and when to track, and how to interpret the results gathered by this exercise. The information gathered will lead to the generation of a brand equity report and creating responsibility centers thereafter to oversee the development of efficient marketing department and thus create a perfect brand equity measurement and management system. 3.5.3 Establishing Brand Equity Management System. In order to set up a brand equity management, for establishing an efficient and effective brand management system, the company should first emphasize on formalizing its view of brand equity in a document and prepare the brand charter. This document will not only account for the company's general philosophy with respect to brand equity, but it will also summarize the activity and outcomes of brand audits, brand tracking, and related studies. An updated charter will not only assist in identifying new opportunities and emerging risks while reflecting information gathered from the brand inventory and brand exploratory exercises, but it will also assist in laying out the guidelines for brand strategies and tactics for proper brand treatment. After formulating the brand charter, the company should assemble the results of tracking studies and other relevant outcomes to prepare a brand equity report. This report will not only provide descriptive information on what is happening to a brand, it will also provide diagnostic evidence on why it is happening. These reports should be updated and distributed to management on a regular basis. For ease of review, these reports could be displayed in marketing dashboards. Lastly, the senior management must oversee the treatment of brand equity within their own company. These senior executives in charge of overseeing the brand charter and brand equity reports should make sure that product and marketing actions are carried out in such a way that the spirit of the charter and the substance of the report are reflected across divisions and geographic boundaries to maximize the brand's long-term equity. 3.6 Measuring sources of brand equity. As discussed above, we know that it is very important for the companies to know the level of brand knowledge of its products among the consumers. For measuring the sources of brand equity, the companies should have in-depth understanding of why and how customers buy and use their products, what customers know, think, feel and act towards its brands. It is important to gather this information not only to build the strategies for marketing communication, but also for measuring the change in the consumer's buying pattern due to implementation of marketing programs. Unearthing this information is challenging because this crucial brand knowledge resides in the customer's mind. The companies need to unravel this emotional information and convert it into data for analysis using quantitative and qualitative approaches. Qualitative approaches are relatively unstructured approaches and permit a range of questions along with their answers. They help to identify the possible brand associations and brand equity. These techniques are the first step in exploring the perceptions of brand and products among the consumers. Because of their unstructured nature, these measures are appropriate to provide an in-depth glimpse of what brands and products mean to consumers, which might be otherwise difficult to decode. However, due to qualitative nature of data, the interpretations of answers may differ from person to person. Generally, these techniques are applied to a small sample size, so the results obtained from these qualitative techniques cannot be generalized to a larger population. While qualitative measures are useful to identify the range of associations with a brand and some initial insights into the brand's strength, favorability, and uniqueness, Quantitative techniques provide a definite and precise portrait of the brand that allows the companies to make strategic and tactical decisions. The data gathered from these quantitative techniques is often represented by numerical summaries and charts. Besides providing important information about the depth and breadth of brand awareness, these techniques provide useful insights into the strength, favorability, and uniqueness of brand associations. They also help to understand the negative judgments and positive feelings along with the extent and nature of brand relationships. Basically, these techniques are used to measure the brand awareness and its image amongst the customers. Figure 3.5 shows some of the important qualitative and quantitative techniques used to measure source of brand equity. Look at the screen. Figure 3.5, Common techniques to measure sources of brand equity. 3.7 Managing brands over time. Geographical and market segments. 3.7.1 Managing brands over time. The markets in which the companies operate today are highly dynamic due to constant change in consumer lifestyle, tastes and preferences, government regulations, introduction of technology, etc. Due to these changes, the companies have to innovate not only their products but also their marketing communication and branding programs to maintain and enhance their brand equity. For this, the companies must understand and respond swiftly to the present as well as future preferences of their customers. Do you remember brands like Orkut, Snapchat, Yahoo, Nokia? Initially, these brands enjoyed a strong market position. In just a few years, however, each of them was struggling for survival as Facebook, Instagram, Google, and Samsung raced ahead of them and established market superiority. Besides other factors, the way these brands were managed certainly contributed to downfall and outcast of some of these brands. For the survival of a brand, it is necessary that brand equity is strengthened by developing marketing programs which express brand knowledge consistently and do not to confuse the consumer. Brand knowledge is derived from brand attributes and brand association. If the company tries to fiddle these sources, the customers will be confused, and the resulting effects can be devastating. For example, Cotons, the apparel retailer, frequently used temporary price reductions, 50% to 50%, 40%, to promote the sale of its apparel. This created and strengthened a discount association to the brand and had negative effects and responses from customers when the company implemented non-price-oriented marketing communication efforts. So, when the company stopped offering the discounts for which it was known, the customers did not buy its products. The company, which was incorporated in 1991, ultimately filed for liquidation. For survival of their brands, the companies should not only be active in managing brand equity over time by reinforcing the brand meaning but also be proactive in adjusting in their marketing programs to identify fresh sources of brand equity. For example, Wipro launched Santoor soap in the mid-80s as a sandal and turmeric soap. This soap was priced attractively and achieved little success against well-established brands like Lux, Rexona, Hamam, and Synthol in the popular segment of India's soap market. Very soon the brand lost momentum, and its growth slowed down. In order to revitalize the brand, the company moved away from emphasis on ingredients sandal and turmeric to a promise of skin care and younger-looking skin. This change in approach brought in instant results and brought the brand back to the growth track and attracted a whole new set of users. For this, Wipro not only adjusted, revitalized and strengthened the Santoor advertising over time, it also modified and improved the product and its packaging. Thus, it can be said that companies need to innovate to manage brands over time and thus remain ahead of the competition. As the brand moves in its life cycle, it faces saturation at some point of time. At this point of time, the companies must focus on expanding awareness and look for ways to generate more consumption. The consumption can either be increased by highlighting instances of consumption or by highlighting the diverse ways and occasions where the brand can be consumed. For example, Cadbury was successful in generating more consumption of its chocolates while rejoicing occasions like passing of an examination or celebrating festivals of Diwali or Raksha Bandhan or simply spreading the idea of goodness. If we look at the brands which have been in the market for the last 50 or 100 years, we will find that these brands have not only been consistent in conveying their meaning but have also been proactive in innovation and adoption of appropriate measures to build and maintain their brand equity. 3.7.2 Managing brands across geographical boundaries and market segments. In modern times, when the world is becoming flat, every company wants to be a global player. Companies want to go beyond their domestic boundaries to reap the benefits of economies of scale, diversify their risk to make up for the slow or saturated growth in domestic markets, or to take advantage of the global mobility of customers. Regardless of the reason for becoming a global player, the companies need to have suitable marketing programs that create and sustain brand equity not only across geographical boundaries but also across market segments. Ideally, the marketing program for a global brand should consist of uniform product formulation, package design, advertising program, pricing schedule, distribution plan that could prove the most effective and efficient option for every country in which the brand was sold. Creating a standardized marketing program for brands not only helps to lower down the marketing costs due to economies of scale in production and distribution, but it also aids to bring credibility and consistency of brand image with application of uniform marketing practices. Another advantage of the standardized marketing program is that the companies can sell their products universally at one go and thus gain an unopposed first mover advantage. At times, companies may be able to adopt standardized marketing programs, while other times it may not be able to do so. A uniformly optimal strategy is rarely possible, and companies have to change their products and positions as per the requirements of the markets in which these products are sold. Today, companies are increasingly blending global objectives with local customs and traditions to improve their capabilities to tailor their products and programs according to local taste. For instance, Kraft chose to adopt a consistent global positioning, Milk's favorite cookie, for worldwide launch of its Oreo brand of cookies. This positioning reinforced the generally desirable associations of nurturing, caring, and health among the customers. When Oreo was launched in India by Cadbury's, it faced stiff competition from local brands like Parle, Britannia and Sunfeast, which emphasize on taste, quality, health and nutrition. Oreo did not focus on these already prevailing aspects. Instead, it focused on building and nurturing the bond of togetherness. The advertisements of Oreo featured father and son engaged in the twist, lick, and dunk ritual to enjoy the biscuit together in a different manner. A global brand may be at different stages of its life cycle in different geographical locations depending on the time of its launch. Some products are launched first in developed countries and later in the developing countries. Whatever the case may be, the companies need to implement marketing programs that vary according to the stages of life cycle. While tactically building strong global brands, companies want to reap the maximum advantages and minimize the instances of disadvantages. Building global brand equity means creating positive brand awareness and positive brand image in each country and market segment where the product is being sold. For this, the companies should rely on 10 commandments of global branding as suggested by Keller, Parameswaran. 7. Figure 3.7, 10 Commandments of Global Branding. Look at the screen. 3.8 Let us sum up. In this unit we learned the meaning of brand equity and its associated perspectives. Among the three perspectives of brand equity, the customer-based brand equity is the most important one and of larger interest to the companies. A positive brand equity for a company's product not only makes them easily recognizable by the customers but also results in generating appropriate ROI for the company. By applying the Keller's pyramid, we also understood the various levels of brand building, starting from brand identity and reaching to brand resonance. In this process, the marketing communications used by the company plays a very important role. With the changing tastes and preferences of the customers and evolving dynamism in the environment, companies today use modern communication options along with the traditional ones. It is not enough only to communicate your brand identity to the customers. It is equally important to know the level of brand knowledge about your products in customers' minds. We also learned that for measuring the sources of brand equity, the companies should have in-depth understanding of why and how customers buy and use their products, what customers know, think, feel and act towards its brands. Gathering this information is important as it helps you to build the strategies for marketing communication as well as measure the change in the consumer's buying pattern due to implementation of marketing programs. For gathering this information, you can employ qualitative or quantitative approaches. Unstructured qualitative approaches can identify the range of associations in customers' mind with a brand and some initial insights into the brand's strength, favorability, and uniqueness. The quantitative approaches, however, are well defined and precisely measure the awareness and image of brand among the customers. In today's flat world, the company brands are at different stages of their product life cycle. If the company wants to continue its journey for a long time, it should be able to clearly communicate with its customers and not confuse them. If the brand is fading and the company wants to continue, then the company has to recalibrate its approach and make appropriate changes not only in the message, but also in advertisements, packaging and products. This we learned from the example of Santur. We further learned that today companies have various reasons to approach the global market. While approaching the global markets, the companies prefer to use uniform strategies for the obvious reasons of reducing the cost and improving the ROI. However, at times due to variations in the macro environment, the companies may have to customize. We also understood that brand name, logos, symbols must be designed in a way that it accurately communicates brand knowledge to the customer besides highlighting the points of similarity and differences across borders. Brand building is not a secondary, one-time, simple exercise, rather it is a continuous, tedious, ongoing time-consuming process. For the long-term health of the company, it is necessary to manage the brands over time as well as across geographical and market segments. Thank you for listening. We will be back with the next chapter.